To us freshwater guys, the biggest boogie monster of the saltwater world is all these parameters that need to be in check. Calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, salinity. Well, guess what? After starting my first ever saltwater tank only about 6 months ago, I can promise you that all those scary parameters are nothing to be afraid of. Just like in freshwater, once we know what they are and how to keep them in the range that we want them to be in, saltwater is no different. Just additional, I'll say additional parameters to keep track of, but definitely not any harder to learn. So in order to know and keep track, we have to test our water. Don't be scared of testing. We do it in freshwater too. And since we have more parameters to test now, how good would it be if we could test all of them in one single test kit? Very good. This is the Hanna Instruments Marine Master Test Kit, aka the Hanna Marine Master Multiparameter Photometer. Yeah, that's a mouthful. This kit has 8 different parameters that you can test, and they are ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, pH, phosphate, calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. You can rewind that part if you need to. So in freshwater, we know all about the ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, and pH. And we test those parameters using the kit with the colors. It's kind of hard to tell what color you're looking at. You know the one. Well, no more of that, because this baby's digital. Every test will give you an accurate digital result, so you won't have to adjust the lighting in your room to compare colors. Keep in mind that all the test kits on the market, no matter what brand you use, all have an acceptable range of error. Something very small, but it's common with these home test kits. You can find those ranges on the back of the box or on the Hanna Instruments website. Now, while looking at this kit, at first glance, it may look very intimidating. Trust me, I know, I was there. But I'm gonna show you how well Hanna designed this thing to make it virtually idiot-proof. You cannot do a single one of these tests incorrectly, mainly because this photometer has a built-in step-by-step tutorial for each test. And on top of that, I'm gonna walk you through them right now. And I promise, if you watch this video through to the end, you'll never have to watch it again, because you'll be a pro at this. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is set yourself up on a nice little workstation. Get out a table, set up on a desk, a little fold-out table like I have right here. You're gonna need some paper towel and or a microfiber towel because things are gonna get wet. Now, since we're gonna be testing multiple parameters, you're not gonna wanna go into the tank every time you need a sample, right? So get yourself a decent sized cup, rinse it out a couple of times in some tank water to make sure there's no other residues in there, and then gather about half a cup worth of water. This is gonna be your testing sample that we're gonna use the whole time for every parameter. All right, we got our sample. Now again, this all may seem very scary, but I promise you, you won't even have to read the instructions because they've got you a beautiful color-coded instruction manual right here. Let's start with just one color. First color we got is red and it says calcium. So everything that's red in this section is gonna be used on the calcium test. First, we got these 3 pipettes that are on the right-hand side, which are right here, 1, 2, and 3. Then we go down here, this packet is also in red, which is, if you follow right down the color line, is this packet right here. That's a calcium reagent packet. If you go down even further, the liquid reagent is also in the red section, which if we get these 3 right here, come down here, that's the packet, come down here, there's the reagent. And the reagent is also labeled red. You don't need to memorize the reagent number H17581U, none of that. Don't worry about that stuff. We got color-coded instructions here. Moving right along, the next one is blue and is alkalinity. So for alkalinity, there's only one pipette, which is the 4th from the right, the one in blue. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, this is our pipette for alkalinity. What else is blue? If we keep following down the blue path, is just this one liquid reagent. So we follow the blue path down and boom, we land on a blue liquid reagent, color-coded. Again, you don't have to look for H17727, none of that. Blue one, just get the blue one. It also says alkalinity on it. Continuing to move across the top, now we have magnesium in a black color. First, you got your 2 short and thicker pipettes, which are these 2 right here, right? Which also contain the 2 tips, which are these tips right here that go on the ends of these pipettes. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you how to use it. Keep following down the black section, and then we've got the liquid reagent right here, the big magnesium liquid reagent. This whole bottle's black, so there's no color for it. But don't worry, you won't get it confused because magnesium is the only reagent that's this big of a bottle compared to these guys. Can't mix them up. Continuing across the top, now we got our sample pipette, which is this right here. This is where we're gonna actually take our test samples from. This is a pipette that isn't going to be contaminated with any other reagents. We're only going to use this for the samples. And then at the top left, we've got our phosphate test, ultra low range. Follow that green line all the way down and you'll hit the green packet right there. Every packet has its name. You can't mix these up. I'm gonna go a little faster on this bottom part of the color-coded label because I think you guys get it, right? So bottom left is nitrite, ultra low range. Follow that green line up, there's your packet. Right here is your nitrite packet. Go across, now you got ammonia, which is in the yellow block. These 2 packets and this liquid reagent. Moving across, now we have nitrate. If you follow that purple line, it goes all the way up to this packet at the top, right underneath all the pipettes. So follow this all the way up. The packet on top, right underneath all the pipettes, it's labeled nitrate right there. Can't get it wrong. Then one more over to the right, we have pH, and it just points to this one section right here with a little pH dropper for pH testing. Follow this color code, people, and you can never mix anything up. But don't worry, it gets even simpler than that. Your Marine Master comes with batteries, but it's not installed. So when you first open it up, you're gonna pull your photometer out, get behind it, untwist this, put the batteries in, put this back on. I'm not gonna show you guys how to install batteries, okay? Now this piece, this is probably the second time I've ever even lifted it out of the kit because you do not have to remove it. Everything is done right here. We're gonna power it on with the only red button on here that is obviously power. We'll turn it on. It's gonna go through a little check and then it's gonna tell us that we are in tutorial mode, and that's where I like to keep this thing at always. I'm never going to turn off the tutorial mode because different tests require different reagents and different procedures, and I'm not even gonna sit here and try to tell you guys that I'm gonna memorize all these tests. I'll just stick to the tutorial for as long as I want. So it reads tutorial mode is enabled, and we're gonna hit continue. It's the button right underneath the continue, okay? This is gonna be very simple to learn. So now we have measure right under this button. We have tank right under this button. This is like playing a Nintendo, guys. It's gonna be super easy. Then we have these 3 lines. These 3 lines obviously mean some kind of a menu, right? So let's hit the menu and you'll see methods with a down arrow all the way down here. The down arrow is this button. If you wanna go up, it's this button. You see they're aligned right here together with each other. And if you wanted to hit select, you're gonna hit that button, right? The screen is showing you what each button does. We have methods highlighted. We're gonna click down and you could do calibration check. You can recall your log because all your tests are stored right here in this unit in the log. You can go down to setup, regions and accessories, instruction manuals right on here. To be honest, guys, I haven't done any of those other selections except for methods, which is where we pick what water parameter we're gonna test. So we highlight method and we hit select. Select is on this button, so we're gonna hit this button. Now we have our parameters here. So the first parameter we see is alkalinity. It's the one highlighted on top. We're gonna hit our down arrow just to scroll through all the options. Next we have ammonia, calcium, magnesium, nitrate low range, nitrate high range, nitrite, phosphate, and pH. So we're gonna start off with alkalinity. We're gonna highlight alkalinity and then hit the select button. So we're gonna hit measure to start the test. Step 1 of 11. It reads fill the cuvette. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Cuvette. I'm gonna say it wrong a million times in this video. Fill the cuvette to 10 milliliters mark with sample. So we're gonna pull out our cuvette, which is one of these right here. These are already set up without the caps, but when you first open yours, the caps are gonna be on it. Go ahead and uncap it. This is your first cuvette, and we're gonna fill it with 10 milliliters. Each cuvette has the line right on it where 10 milliliters is. So we're gonna get our sample pipette right here and just grab some sample water and fill this puppy up. We're not gonna dip anything into this sample water except for this pipette. Not a cuvette, not a packet, nothing else is going in there. All right? So we fill this up to that line as best as we can. Drop, drop, drop. Okay, looks like I'm there. Now this pipette, what I do with it, this is our sample pipette. I leave it right into my cup. I don't let it touch anything else. No contamination. All right, we got the 10 milliliters right here. So we hit next. Next is right under this button. So we're gonna hit that button and go next. Step 2 is to replace the cap and wipe the cuvette clean. All right, so we're gonna put the cap on and we're gonna wipe it clean. The reason, every test you do before you get a reading, you're gonna wipe the cuvette because you don't want any fingerprints or any oils that are on your skin to be on the bottle because it can skew your readings. Okay, I wiped it clean. Now we're gonna hit next. Step 3 is insert the cuvee, check the notch alignment. So here's the notch on the cap. That little triangle right there is your notch symbol, right? And you've got the notch right here in the photometer as well. So when you insert the cuvee, if the notches don't line up, you'll kind of feel that it's got a lot of play and you can spin it around. When you align that little notch to the notch in front here, you'll feel it click right into place and it seats itself even a little bit more. Now check that out. It's not gonna go anywhere. That's how you know that you're seating this properly every time you do every test. All right, so after you check the notch alignment, like the step tells you to do, go ahead and hit next. Now it says step 4 of 11, press 0. It's basically telling you exactly what to press. 0 is over here, which is right over this button. So we press 0. It's doing the 0 right now. Boom, we zeroed it out. Now it goes right into step 5. Press next. Step 5 is to press next. Can you believe that? So we press next. Step 6, remove the cuvee. When I tell you this is simple, guys, I'm telling you, this is error proof. You're not gonna get anything wrong. So I removed it. Now we hit next. Step 7 is to add to the cuvee 1 milliliter of H17727. Okay, these are the numbers again, right? We know we're testing alkalinity. So when we look at our chart right here, and we see alkalinity is blue, and we follow the blue, blue is right here, this liquid one. So we look down, we follow the path, here's the blue label right here. We pull it out and double check that it is the alkalinity, it is the blue one, okay? We're gonna get 1 milliliter of this. How do I get 1 milliliter of this? Well, remember, our blue section here also has that pipette, 4 from the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna use this one right here. Not that they're all majorly different, but you're not gonna wanna use the same pipette for different water parameters, right? So this pipette is a 1 milliliter pipette. It's gonna be very easy to get the exact amount we need. And you also have this tip right here. This tip is used to go into the reagent bottle, so you don't have to put the pipette all the way down into it. As an example, so you go insert, hold your pipette, watch your needle here, and you're gonna pull it all the way out. Even if you go over, it's fine, right? Because now when you pull it out, all the solution is in the tip right here. Ensure that your stopper here is right at the 0 mark, right there, right? So any excess I put right back into the bottle. Then we're simply gonna add this right to the cuvette. Now there might be a little bit left over at the bottom of the tip, right? You see it there? I hope you guys can see it. So all I do is pull a little bit more air and then push it out again. Make sure you got all of it. Now, this pipette that was used for alkalinity, I put it right here on the side. It's not gonna be used ever again for any of these tests today, you know, until we reset everything. But I'm not using that for anything else. All right, so we added to the cuvette 1 milliliter. Then we hit next, and it tells you replace the cap and invert 5 times. All right, place the cap, invert it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't trust 5, so I like to go 6, 7, 8. You know, I do a little bit more. Not gonna hurt anything, all right? So we go ahead and hit next. Step 9, again, wipe it clean. Every time you touch this thing, and before you do a test, you wanna wipe it clean. Hit next, insert the cuvette, check notch alignment. I'm telling you guys, step by step. There we go. It's right in the alignment. It's right in the spot. Hit next. And then step 11 of 11, it says press read. Now read is over here, right over this button. So we're going to press read. And just like that, in a couple of seconds, we're going to get our reading. I'm at a 7.7 DKH alkalinity for my tank right now. That's the alkalinity test. Ta-da! Now let's move on to a little more difficult test, but still not hard. Very easy with the tutorial. We're gonna do calcium now. So how do we reset from this spot? We're gonna hit the menu button right here. That takes us right back to the main menu. So we're gonna hit select again to select methods. And now we're gonna look for calcium. So we gotta hit the down arrow a few times. Now we have calcium highlighted and we're gonna hit select. And then we're gonna hit measure to begin the test. Okay? Step 1, add the cuvette, 1 milliliter of a reagent. First of all, we need to get rid of the last thing that we just tested. So this one, I'm gonna put it off to the side somewhere. If you wanted to use the same bottle, you could toss that test, make sure you rinse it out well, wipe it dry, wipe it clean, use the same bottle. But I'm gonna go ahead and use my second one. So step 1 is add to the cuvette 1 milliliter of H17 blah, 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 a whole bunch of numbers, right, that we don't care about because we know that we're doing a calcium test. So I go over to my color code again. Calcium is red. in the red section. I'm looking for the liquid that's in the red section. And there it is. It's right here on the right-hand side. So I follow this right-hand side. Boom. There's my red labeled liquid calcium reagent. It says calcium right on there. All right. So it says we need to add 1 milliliter. How are we going to do that? Back to our red section. We've got 3 pipettes right there. Out of the 3 pipettes that are available, there's only one that is an actual 1 milliliter pipette. Same style of pipette that we used for the alkalinity test before this one. We're going to do the same thing as we did before. Stick my pipette in there. Suck up right there. So we're going to take this 1 milliliter, put it right into the cuvee, just as it said. Again, I'm going to suck a little air in, put that out. All right, this 1 milliliter pipette, done. I put it over there in the stack of not using it or touching it anymore. All right, now we hit the next button. Step 2, fill the cuvee to 10 milliliters. Marked with DIW. DIW is deionized water. Now this step is kind of important. First of all, let me put this calcium reagent away just to prevent any accidents. Close it up, put it away. The deionized water that you need for this test is RODI water. You need water that has no minerals, no particles, nothing in it at all to complete this test. I know a lot of you might have RODI water, but if your filters, if your cartridges are not working at their best capacity, you might still have something in that RODI water. You might not be at true 0 TDS. And for this test to be accurate, you need to be at true 0 TDS. An alternative to use other than RODI water is to go to your local Walmart or your supermarket and get yourself some distilled water. Distilled water is going to have 0 of everything in it. And you're going to have no doubt at all that that's the right water to use to perform this calcium test. I'm not at liberty to go to the store right now, so I'm going to use some regular old RODI water that I have in my closet. By the way, what am I going to use to fill this up with that deionized water? Back to the color code. You see the 3 pipettes here. We already used that middle one, but here's one on the left-hand side, which is a pipette that looks just like our sample pipette. But this one is specifically used to go get yourself some deionized water. You see how we're not mixing the stuff here? We're using each thing for each test. I'll be right back when I fill this up. Okay, and we're back with 10 milliliters of deionized water, or in my case, I use my RODI water. We're right on the mark. This pipette, again, goes away, not to be used. We go next on our little tutorial here. Hit the next button. Step 3 is replace the cap and invert 5 times. All right, where'd my cap go? Right here. Place the cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just for good measure, right? Hit the next button. Wipe the cuvee clean. Where'd my towel go? Right here. All right, wipe it clean. Make sure no fingerprints, no nothing's on there. Nice and dry. What's the next step gonna be, guys? Next, insert the cuvee and check the notch alignment. Okay, hit next. And now it says press 0, so we're going to 0 it out. 0 is right under this button. We hit 0. It gives me a reading of 0, and step 7 is press next. Boom, I did step 7. Step 8 is to add 0.1 milliliters of unreacted sample to the cuvee. Here's where things can get a little tricky. In order to get 0.1 milliliter of your sample, you're going to need a special pipette. And where are we going to get that from? Back to our color code, the 3 pipettes, the one we haven't used yet is this one right here in the right-hand side. This is a mechanical pipette, and I want to show you what makes this one unique. So this right here is spring-loaded. When you push down on it, you'll feel a section where it stops right there. The spring stops right there, right? But there's still a little more you can go. Watch this. See that little extra right there at the bottom? That is for the purpose of making sure that you get all of your sample out of this pipette. You do not want to push this all the way down in order to suck up your sample. You only want to go down to that first notch, put this into your sample, release it, and it will suck up 0.1 milliliters of your sample. When you go to add it into your cuvee, then you'll push down all the way to make sure that all of the sample comes out of the pipette. I hope that's clear. Now when we get our 0.1 milliliter sample, this also comes with a tip as well. And the reason why you want to use the tip on here and not the mechanical one only, you don't want your sample to remain inside the mechanical pipette, and then with time, you start getting inaccurate results because of that. So you put the tip on there this is gonna hold your sample. Here we go. I'm going to hold it down, only down to that first notch, put it right into my sample here, release, and make sure all the excess is out of here. Now I've got 0.1 milliliters right in my tip, right there. Now we're gonna grab our cuvee. We're gonna put that tip in there. I wanna make sure I'm on camera here. We're gonna put our tip in the cuvee, push down all the way down to get all of it out, all right? That ensures we got that 0.1 sample out of there. Guess what we do with this mechanical thing? You got it, you nailed it. All right, next. Now, for the first time, is add a packet. And adding a packet, to me, the first time I was using this test, I didn't like the fact that I had to deal with powder. I was afraid of losing some of it, not using all of it. But trust me when I tell you, after I did maybe 4 or 5 tests, I got completely comfortable with it. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it so you can be comfortable from try 1. So we're gonna add 1 packet of H1758, something crazy number, back to the red color code. Which packet is red right here in the section? That one right there, I find it right here. It's the calcium packet. It says calcium right on it. All right, we've got 1 packet here of calcium. Now the packet, as you can see, has these scissor lines where you actually cut across the lines to open it up. So here's what I do. I grab my packet first with the scissor lines on top. I hold it as if it's a diamond, not a square. I hold it in the diamond and I flick it a few times, right? Give it a little flicks. Make sure that all the powder that's in this packet is in this bottom part of the packet. You don't want any up here, right? So give it a few flicks, nothing crazy. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut it. And yes, your kit does come with its own pair of scissors, so you don't have to go opening drawers or looking through your kid's backpack. You got scissors right in the kit. I'm gonna cut right on that line. I'm gonna go 1 big cut all the way across. Done. And I'm gonna do 1 more big cut all the way across the top. Done. You see, no powder came out of here. I'm not missing anything. I didn't lose anything. And now what I'm gonna do is, the way I'm gonna open this packet, I'm gonna create a little spout, okay? I'm gonna open it up at the top where I cut it. See that? And then I'm gonna create a little bend right here so that the opening becomes a little spout. See that there? I hope, because I'm out of focus. How about here? See the spout there? I can pour the powder out from this end or this end. You don't want to do it from the ends here that weren't cut because they'll get trapped in those corners. So you want to pour it out these spouts. All right, I grab my cuvee. I stick the tip right in there and the powder goes right inside. Look at that. I give it a couple of taps to make sure all of it came out. Look, no spill, no fuss, no powder residue around the rim. Nothing on my hands, nothing on the floor. None of it was lost. Okay, now we hit next. Replace the cap and shake vigorously for 15 seconds. You see, the tutorial even tells you the correct way of shaking this stuff. Sometimes it says invert just 5 times. Sometimes it says shake vigorously like this. And then there's another test that actually tells you to shake it kind of soft for 30 seconds. You know, it's very, very instructional. Has it been 15 seconds yet? Most likely. Okay, we're gonna hit next. And now it says, allow air bubbles to dissipate for 15 seconds. So if you take a good look right here, there's air bubbles at the top of that, right? You see that? So we'll let it sit here for 15 seconds, literally, and those bubbles will dissipate on their own. All right, take a look at it now. I wish my camera would focus on what I'm trying to show you. There we go. See those bubbles are gone now? All right, no more bubbles. So we hit next. Step 12. What do you know? Who would have thunk it? Wipe the cuvee clean. You guys thought I was joking when I said idiot proof, right? You thought I was joking. Okay. All right. I know we should all know what the next thing is, right? We're going to insert it, check the notch, but for the sake of purposes of an instructional video, we hit next. Step 13, insert the cuvee, check the notch, hit next again. Step 14 of 14 is press read. Now we're gonna hit the read button and we got a reading right there. 466 parts per million is my calcium, all right? That's the calcium test. Next, moving right along to another slightly different test is magnesium. Remember, we're gonna do the top 3 that are the big boogeyman for saltwater, but I'm showing you exactly how to do them so you have no fear how to test these things out. Now, I only have 2 cuvées in the kit, which I use for 2 tests, so I'm gonna go wash these and rinse these and be right back. And then I'm gonna wipe the outside clean again. I just noticed that my tank lights behind me turned off during our test. So we're gonna reset the test again, guys. You guys should know exactly how to do it. I'm gonna hit my 3 bars right here, which bring me back to the main menu. We're gonna select methods again. And now we're gonna do the magnesium test. So we're gonna go down to magnesium is the very next one. We're gonna hit select and we're gonna measure. Okay, step 1 is to add to the cuvee 4 milliliters of some weird number. Here we go. We're doing magnesium. Magnesium is black. In the black section are these 2 short and thick pipettes. So I'm gonna grab one of them. These are 5 milliliters long. Right, so it says to add 4 milliliters of the reagent. So which reagent we're going to use? There's only one magnesium reagent, this big bottle right here. Pull this out. Now be careful because it does get slimy and kind of greasy when you first open it up. So just be very careful with this magnesium one. Now this little short stubby pipette is not going to go all the way in there to pull out a sample, right? That's why we have these tips right here that are also part of the black magnesium section. So we put our tip on the pipette, all right, dip it into the reagent. Now for this one, because it's kind of hard to see when I stop at 4, I just pull out the whole maximum, right? Now I can see much better. My stopper is well above the 4 milliliter line. So I'll just push it down till I get to 4. And now we're at the 4 milliliters. So now in the tip and some inside the pipette, we got 4 milliliters right there. Add the 4 milliliters to your cuvee. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to suck up a little bit of air. Make sure all of it is out. All right. I like to do it twice. I don't know why. Done with this. We got 4 milliliters in the cuvee. I'm going to put this back because, like I said, I don't like messing with this because it's kind of slimy and it precipitates very quickly and easily. You see the precipitation right there? Put that one back. So on to the next step. We hit next. Step 2 is add 5 milliliters of unreacted sample. So we're gonna go and grab our second pipette also in the black section. See, I'm telling you, we're not reusing anything. Here's my second tip right here. I'm gonna put that tip on there and we're gonna get 5 milliliters of sample, which is right here. Again, I took way too much more. So my stopper's above the line. I'm gonna shoot some right back into it, stop right at 5. Now I know I got 5 in here. Now I add the 5 right to the cuvee. Bam. Do my same little dance here with my air. There we go, I got all of it. And this guy is done. Next, step 3, replace the cap and invert 5 times. Okay, invert 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. When you're mixing liquid with liquid, all you need is a couple of inverts and it's nice and mixed. Now, I know the next step is going to be wipe the cuvee clean. So I'm just going to do it. This is going to become second nature to you. You're going to know the next steps even before you read them. All right, wipe it clean, put it in the notch. Make sure it's notched. But now I'll go ahead and start hitting next. So next is wipe it clean. We did that. Next is insert the cuvee. We did that. Next, press 0. So 0 is this button. Bam. It's going to 0 it out. Step 7 is to press next. I don't know why that's a step, but it's a step. Step 8 is to remove the cuvee. All right, that's a step. We did it. Next. Step 9 is to add 1 packet of the magnesium packet. I'm never going to remember those numbers and letters, guys. I'm going to say it every time. So we look for black. We come down here and right in the black section next to the liquid is that packet right there. So if we look right next to here, boom, there's the packet, magnesium. Double check and read what's on the label, that it says magnesium. We're gonna do the same thing as before. 1 big cut this way, 1 big cut that way. We're gonna slide it open, boom. Then we're gonna create a little mouth, a little pouch, a little fold. You guys remember this game, remember? In elementary school when you used to do this with the paper? I know you remember, come on. We did that. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, blue, red, diamond. You remember that game. That's what you're doing right here. Once again, I forgot to take the cap off first. Gotta take your cap off first. That's a good idea. So you don't have to mess with this while you have the packet in your hand. Whoop. Okay, glad that didn't fall. All right, we're gonna dip this right in here. Doop. and you'll see the powder go right in there. I like to give it a couple of taps, make sure I got all of it out, and you could tell that there's nothing else in there. There's no leftover, right? We're in there, all right? Garbage over here, put the cap back on. How does this thing want me to shake this? It's gonna tell me when I hit next. It wants me to shake gently for 30 seconds. It even shows you a little animation of exactly how it wants you to shake it. A gentle shake for 30 seconds, people. I don't know if I could talk to you for the whole 30 seconds, but I won't bore you. We'll just speed this up. I don't know what you heard, but I was making some like speed fast sounds. I wonder what that's gonna sound like when I actually speed it up. Okay, that should be 30 seconds. We mixed it. Next says wipe the cuvee clean. What do you know? Who woulda thunk it? Next, we're gonna insert, I'm sure. We're gonna put the notch correctly. We're gonna hit next. And then it says step 13 of 15 is press read. We're gonna hit the read button. And now it explains something to you, right? Step 14 is telling you that the reaction timer is gonna start on the next screen. So you press read to skip the timer. But you don't wanna skip the timer. You might as well use the timer that it's giving you. So we're gonna hit next, and there's the timer. If you wanted to skip it, for example, if you just left it sitting here for 3 minutes, you knew you already waited 3 minutes, you could just hit the read button and it'll read the sample. But we didn't do that, and I recommend you don't do that. I recommend you put it in there, you hit next, you let the timer count down for your 3 minutes, and when that 3 minutes is done, you're gonna hear a little audible beep just to tell you that the timer is over, and then it's gonna do the read and you're gonna get a result. I'd rather do it that way. Remember in that color-coded test when you had to shake the bottles and then wait 5 minutes for the color to actually show you the results, right? Similar timing wait here. You gotta give it time to react with the reagents to get a proper result. All right, we're at 10 seconds here. I wanna give you guys the opportunity to listen for that audible beep that reminds you that the timer's over. Check it out. I don't know if you heard that, but hopefully you did. And then you get your result right after that. My magnesium, 1530, that's kind of high. That's on the high side, but that's also because I have previously been dosing magnesium because I used to be low. So this means to me that now my current dosing of magnesium needs to be reduced, right? Not as low as I had it before when it was low, but lower than I have it now because it's high. These are the tweaks that need to be made in your saltwater reef tank. This is why you need to test at least once a week. You need to test your water parameters to see where everything is until you finally get everything dialed in, and then you'll be good. Now what I want to show you guys real quick is how to recall these tests that we just did, because while I've been filming this video, I don't remember what my alkalinity was, 7.5, 7.8, something like that. I don't remember, but this thing stores all your results right in it. Check it out. We're at the main menu right here. We're gonna hit the down arrow and go to log recall. And then we're gonna hit select. And right there on 1213, which is today, we've got 1530, 1530 parts per million of magnesium. That's the test I just did. Now the test right before it, I'm gonna go down, December 13th, 466 parts per million of calcium. The test right below that one, 1213, 7.7 DKH of alkalinity. Now I got more tests down here, 1211, 1207. It logs every test I've ever done in here right on the photometer. That way you cannot lose any of these tests. It's excellent. I love it. What else can this baby do? It also has an app that your photometer can send your results directly to your phone and keep your log right there. You don't have to open up this test kit and power this thing on to get your old results. If you forgot what they were, you're gonna get it right on your phone. Also, from your phone on the app, you can also select which parameters you wanna test. And then when you come right into your test kit, the photometer will already be set up to test those parameters. Very, very cool. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate test. It's gonna be just exactly the same with a couple of little tweaks, you know, a different packet here, a different liquid reagent there. But the tutorial is gonna show you step by step which one needs to be used and what to do, how to shake it, how long to wait. It tells you everything. You can't get it wrong. One last little thing I wanna show you. After you clean up and dry everything and put it away, I'm not too worried about any liquid residue inside these pipettes because they're not sealed. It'll just air out. But my cuvettes right here, I don't want to put the caps on them and put them away like this when there's still moisture inside the cap. So the trick I found, leave the caps off, put them in their slots where they go so air can dry them out. And then my two caps, I'm actually gonna put them together like so and put these right in my slot where my batteries used to be. They're not a perfect fit in here, but if you give them a little bit of a push, they go right in there and sit nice and firm. Your photometer, don't forget to turn it off. Even if you do, it will eventually turn off on its own. Hold down the power button and it shuts off and you're good to go. Now, I didn't talk much about what your parameters should be in a saltwater reef tank, and that was all for good reason because I'm gonna do it in detail in that video right there. But before you go, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Left-handed salute. Peace.